Picture this. You walk into a huge electronics store, and every TV looks absolutely stunning. Colors explode off the screen, sports look unbelievably smooth, and nature documentaries seem so lifelike that it's almost impossible to tell the difference between a $400 TV and one that costs 3 times as much. It feels like every brand has somehow cracked the code to perfect picture quality. But here's the problem. That showroom isn't designed to help you make the best decision. It's designed to help every television sell. Bright retail lighting, carefully selected demo footage, factory-tuned display modes, and strategic placement can make average TVs look far better than they'll ever appear in your living room. So here's the question almost nobody asks until it's too late. If every TV looks amazing in the store, why do so many people regret their purchase just a few weeks later? The answer has very little to do with what you saw on display, and everything to do with what happens after you bring that TV home. In today's ranking, one of the biggest names in the TV industry lands shockingly close to the bottom, while another brand that many shoppers completely overlook turns out to be one of the smartest buys you can make in 2026. Before we reveal the worst brand, you first need to understand why even expensive TVs can disappoint, and why choosing the right brand matters far more than flashy marketing ever will. Most people focus on one number when buying a TV, the price tag, and that's exactly where expensive mistakes begin. A television isn't something you replace every year like a smartphone. It's an investment you'll likely use for thousands of hours over the next 5 to 10 years, making the true cost of ownership far more important than the amount you pay on day one. Imagine 2 shoppers. The first grabs the cheapest TV because it looks like an incredible deal. The second spends just a little more on a brand with a stronger reputation for reliability and long-term performance. At first, they seem to own nearly identical TVs. But fast forward 2 years, and the difference becomes impossible to ignore. The budget TV starts feeling sluggish. Apps take forever to open, software updates become rare, picture quality isn't as vibrant as it once was, and customer support offers little help when problems appear. Meanwhile, the slightly more expensive TV continues delivering smooth navigation, regular updates, better HDR performance, cleaner motion during sports, stronger gaming features, and dependable warranty support when it's actually needed. That small difference in price suddenly looks like one of the smartest investments a buyer could have made. The best TV isn't always the cheapest one. It's the one that keeps delivering long after the excitement of unboxing has faded. So how do we separate marketing hype from reality? Here's exactly how these brands were ranked. Before we start calling out winners and losers, it's important to understand one thing. This ranking isn't based on flashy advertisements, sponsored claims, or whichever brand released the newest flagship TV. A great television isn't defined by one impressive feature. It's the complete experience you get every single day after bringing it home. That's why these rankings consider what actually matters in the real world. Picture quality is only the beginning. We also looked at brightness, HDR performance, gaming features like refresh rates and input lag, the quality of each brand's operating system, long-term software support, reliability history, customer satisfaction, build quality, ease of setup, innovation, and, perhaps most importantly, overall value for the money you spend. Just as importantly, we're not judging brands solely by their most expensive models. Almost every manufacturer can build an incredible flagship if the price is high enough. The real test is whether that brand consistently delivers quality across different price ranges, from entry-level options to premium home theater displays. You'll also notice that no brand is perfect. Even our top-ranked companies have weaknesses, while some lower-ranked brands still offer decent TVs for specific buyers. The goal isn't to crown perfection. It's to identify which brands inspire the most confidence before you spend your hard-earned money. Now that you know how these rankings were determined, let's begin with the brand we'd recommend avoiding. At number 12, we have RCA. This is the brand that often wins the price war before the TV even turns on. The problem is that many owners quickly discover where the savings came from. Picture quality can look acceptable for casual viewing, but brightness is usually weak, motion handling struggles during sports, and software performance tends to feel sluggish after a short period of use. Common complaints include freezing apps, slow menu navigation, and inconsistent build quality. If you simply need a secondary TV for a garage, guest room, or very occasional use, RCA can still make sense. But for a primary living room TV, spending a little more on brands like TCL or Hisense is usually a much safer bet. At number 11 is Westinghouse. On paper, the specs can look surprisingly competitive, but real-world ownership tells a different story. Many buyers report uneven picture quality, limited software support, and customer service that can be difficult to navigate when problems appear. This is a classic example of a TV that looks good under showroom lighting, but feels less impressive after months of everyday use. The low price is tempting, but the ownership experience often becomes the hidden cost. And now for the surprise. Number 10 is Toshiba. That may shock viewers because Toshiba is a recognizable name with a long history in electronics. The issue isn't that Toshiba TVs are terrible, it's that they simply don't stand out in a market that has become incredibly competitive. Software performance can be inconsistent, picture quality varies significantly between models, and gaming features often lag behind similarly priced rivals. Many owners find themselves wishing they had spent just a little more for a stronger overall package. Notice the pattern here. These brands aren't necessarily disasters. In fact, some buyers will be perfectly happy with them, especially if the budget is extremely tight. But when we compare them against today's strongest value brands, the compromises become much harder to justify. What looks cheap up front can easily become an expensive disappointment later through frustration, shorter lifespan, weaker performance, and lower overall satisfaction. The warning sign to remember is simple. If a TV seems dramatically cheaper than every comparable model, ask yourself what had to be removed to reach that price. And speaking of tempting prices, the next group may look like a bargain, but there's a catch almost nobody talks about. Moving into the next tier, we find brands that are much easier to recommend, but only if you understand exactly what you're buying. These companies have earned loyal customers by packing impressive features into surprisingly affordable TVs. On paper, they often look like incredible deals. In real life, though, the experience can be a little more complicated. At number 9 is Insignia. If you've ever shopped during a holiday sale, you've probably seen these TVs at prices that seem almost too good to ignore. For casual streaming, news, or family movie nights, they're perfectly capable. The Fire TV interface is familiar to many users, setup is simple, and the value is undeniable. But once you start watching fast-moving sports or darker movies, the compromises become obvious. Motion blur is more noticeable. HDR lacks real impact because of limited brightness, and the built-in speakers rarely deliver an immersive experience. It's a solid choice for a bedroom, dorm, or kids' room, but it's not the TV most enthusiasts dream about. At number 8 is Amazon's Fire TV lineup. These models are easy to use and integrate well with Alexa, making them convenient for households already invested in Amazon's ecosystem. However, convenience doesn't always equal performance. Some models rely on slower processors, software responsiveness can decline over time, and long-term support varies depending on the manufacturer behind the TV. They're practical for everyday viewing, but less convincing for serious movie lovers or competitive gamers. Coming in at number 7 is Hisense. This might surprise some viewers because Hisense has produced several outstanding TVs in recent years. The reason it doesn't rank higher is consistency. One model can outperform competitors at the same price, while another may suffer from quality control issues like panel variation, blooming around bright objects, or inconsistent motion performance. When you get a great Hisense TV, it's fantastic value. When you don't, the ownership experience can feel like a gamble. That's the key lesson here. Budget-friendly doesn't automatically mean best value. A TV that's perfect for an apartment, guest room, or family space may leave you disappointed if it's the centerpiece of your home theater. Matching the TV to how you actually watch matters far more than chasing the lowest price. The next brands prove you don't always need to spend premium money to get premium performance. Now we've reached what many buyers should pay the closest attention to. These aren't necessarily the flashiest brands or the ones with the biggest marketing budgets, but they consistently deliver something that's far more valuable: confidence. For the vast majority of households, this is the sweet spot where performance, reliability, and price come together in a way that's hard to beat. Coming in at number 6 is Philips. While it doesn't generate as much excitement as some of the bigger names, Philips has quietly built a reputation for producing dependable TVs with solid picture quality and an easy-to-use smart experience. They're not chasing every new trend, but for everyday streaming, sports, and movies, they offer a balanced package that many families will appreciate. If you're looking for a TV that simply works without unnecessary complications, Philips deserves more attention than it usually gets. At number 5 is Panasonic. Although its availability is more limited in some markets, Panasonic continues to impress with excellent color accuracy, reliable build quality, and a picture that's especially appealing to movie lovers. The company has always focused more on delivering a natural viewing experience than chasing exaggerated brightness numbers. It's proof that great engineering often speaks louder than aggressive marketing. At number 4 is Sony. This might surprise viewers who expected to see it in the top 3, but Sony remains one of the safest recommendations you can make. Its image processing is among the best in the industry, motion handling is exceptional for sports and action movies, gaming performance is excellent, and Google TV provides one of the strongest smart platforms available. Sony also has a long history of dependable quality and strong customer support. The only reason it stops here is simple. You often pay a premium for that reliability. And that introduces an important concept: diminishing returns. Once you reach this level, spending significantly more doesn't always result in a dramatically better experience. Instead, you're paying for refinements, premium materials, or cutting-edge features that many viewers may never fully use. For most people, one of these brands could easily become the perfect TV for their home without stretching the budget. But if these brands are this good, what could possibly make the top 3 even better? We've finally reached the brands that represent the very best the TV industry has to offer. At this level, you're no longer worrying about major compromises. Instead, you're deciding which premium experience fits your lifestyle best. Each of these brands excels in different areas, and that's exactly what makes choosing a winner so interesting. Taking the number 3 spot is TCL. A few years ago, very few people would have expected TCL to compete with the industry's biggest names. Today, it's one of the strongest value brands on the market. Its mini LED technology delivers impressive brightness, excellent contrast, and gaming features that rival TVs costing much more. Models like the QM8 have shown that premium performance doesn't always require a premium price. TCL is perfect for buyers who want flagship-level features without spending flagship money. The trade-off? Software polish and long-term consistency still trail the very best. At number 2 is LG. If you're shopping for an OLED TV, LG is almost impossible to ignore. Its OLED lineup, especially the popular C-Series and G-Series models, continues to set the standard for deep blacks, incredible contrast, and cinematic picture quality. Gamers also love LG thanks to HDMI 2.1 support, low input lag, high refresh rates, and outstanding responsiveness. The WebOS platform is smooth, feature-rich, and regularly updated. The only drawback is that OLED isn't ideal for every environment. Extremely bright rooms may benefit more from a high-end mini LED display, and premium OLED models often come with premium prices. That brings us to the number 1 brand, Samsung. This isn't just about having the brightest screen or the most eye-catching showroom display. Samsung earns the top position because it consistently delivers an outstanding all-around ownership experience. Whether you're buying one of its affordable Crystal UHD models or a flagship Neo QLED mini LED television, you can expect strong picture quality, reliable performance, a polished Tizen Smart platform, excellent gaming support, frequent software updates, and one of the broadest product lineups available. Samsung also gives buyers more choices than almost anyone else, making it easier to find the right TV at almost every budget. So how do these top 3 compare? TCL wins on value, delivering exceptional performance for the price. LG remains the king of OLED and the first choice for movie enthusiasts and serious gamers who want perfect blacks. Samsung, however, strikes the best overall balance between innovation, reliability, picture quality, smart features, gaming performance, and long-term value. That's why it claims the number 1 spot. Not because it's perfect, but because it does more things exceptionally well than any other brand in this ranking. Before you head to the store, let's clear up a few myths that cost buyers hundreds of dollars every year. Bigger isn't always better if the screen overwhelms your room or your seating distance. A higher price doesn't automatically guarantee a better TV. It often means you're paying for features you'll never use. Despite the marketing, most people still don't need 8K, especially when 4K content remains the standard. Not every OLED performs the same, as processing, brightness, and build quality vary by brand. Don't trust refresh rate numbers alone, because motion performance depends on more than a single specification. Maximum brightness isn't everything if black levels and contrast suffer. And finally, never assume every HDMI port supports advanced gaming features like 4K at 120 Hz. Remember this simple rule: buy for how you actually watch, not for the biggest number on the box. Now let's combine everything you've learned into one simple buying checklist. Before you spend a single dollar, run through this checklist. First, choose the right screen size for your room instead of automatically buying the biggest TV you can afford. Sitting too close or too far can ruin the experience. Next, think about your room's lighting. If you mostly watch in a dark room, OLED delivers incredible black levels and movie performance. If your room is bright with lots of windows, a quality mini LED TV will usually perform better. If you're a gamer, make sure the TV supports HDMI 2.1, variable refresh rate, auto low latency mode, and 4K at 120 Hz. Don't assume every HDMI port includes these features. Always check the specifications. If streaming is your priority, make sure the operating system supports all the apps you use regularly and receives ongoing software updates. Don't overlook audio either. Even premium TVs often benefit from a soundbar, so leave room in your budget if great sound matters. Speaking of budget, avoid stretching your finances for features you'll rarely use. Buy the TV that fits your viewing habits, not your ego. Shop during major sales events like Black Friday, end-of-season clearances, or when new models are replacing older ones. Finally, before taking the TV home, inspect the box for damage, confirm the model number, and review the warranty. Don't buy an extended warranty automatically. Consider it only if the coverage genuinely adds value. Follow these simple steps, and you'll dramatically reduce your chances of buyer's remorse. One final surprise before you leave. So that's our complete ranking, from RCA at number 12 all the way to Samsung at number 1. Remember, the right TV depends on your budget, your room, and how you actually watch, not clever marketing. Now it's your turn. Which ranking surprised you the most? Which TV brand do you own, and which one deserves to be higher? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you found this guide helpful, subscribe for upcoming videos on the best TVs under $500, the best gaming TVs of 2026, OLED versus mini LED, and more. Buy smart, not expensive.